Hi everyone, it's Kerchie. Welcome to another one of my monthly updates. We are in June. We are halfway through the year and where's the sun? I ask this every time I do one of these. The sun has not come out. Why am I still freezing my butt off? A lot has happened this month. I have a lot of new toys that have come in. I went on a bit of a shopping spree, and also the newer Polly Pockets that were announced months ago are now starting to ship. So they have arrived at my house, at least half of them. The other half, I'm still waiting. I hate waiting, but it is what it is when you're a collector. You just have to wait whenever they decide to ship these things and watch people from other countries receive theirs first. So here's all the new stuff I got this month for my collection, starting with these. We have seen these circulating the internet, and that's because the packaging has been updated. I don't know if this is a permanent thing, but they basically took the vintage Polly Pocket logo and applied it to their new packaging along with new colors, new graphics, and this is how you rebrand a vintage logo. I don't know why it took them so long to do this, but here are the 3 new Big Pocket World Polly Pocket sets with the new packaging. And these might actually get a showcase just based on their packaging alone, because when I saw the packaging, I was so excited. They brought back the original colors, the teal, the logo, but made it modern. This is how you rebrand. So props to their designers. I just want to give a quick shout out to their design team, their creative leaders, because oh my God, this is how you rebrand. I hope this is permanent. I hope this isn't just part of their like 80th anniversary or something. And here is the rabbit one, the rabbit purse with the new packaging. This is just so beautiful. Look how colorful it is. Just the right mixture of pastel and neon colors. And this is the back. I mean, look at this. It's so nostalgic. It reminds me of the 90s and early 2000s, those toy commercials. The moment I said, I'm gonna have limited Polly Pocket showcases because I didn't want to turn into one big Mattel ad, they do this and get me excited all over again. But this is truly how you rebrand. I'm a designer. I've done a lot of rebrands and I'm really, really happy with this. I have to give props to Mattel's designers. Whoever pushed for this redesign and whoever led this project, you are the real MVP. And then I have a couple Mattel 80th anniversary Polly Pockets that have come in. This is one of the ring ones. I showcased the rings from before, the keepsake rings, and I really did love them. So I'm so glad that they decided to make another ring. And this one's already so beautiful. I think I might just do a mini showcase on this one. But then we also have the 80th anniversary Funko pin. Look at this one. It's so adorable. And I do have more 80th anniversary stuff on the way, so maybe when they all get here, they'll get their own showcase or at least a mini showcase. But I do love the packaging in this one. But compare this to the Reboot logo, and it's just so much better. It combines both the vintage and a modern take to it. I can't get over it. As a designer, I'll talk about it forever. So we're just gonna move on. I found more Pet Connects at Target. These are part of the Polly Pocket Pet Connect series. I have all of them, or so I thought. And then I go on Target only to find that they released a horse and an elephant, and they're super, super cute. I have not showcased any of the Pet Connects yet. At this point, I have so many that they might just get their own showcase or mini showcase. I haven't decided yet. There's just so many things I want to do. I'm a little bit all over the place right now, but I do love the Pet Connects. They literally connect together. So I'm glad they're still making more of these. And then I go on Box Lunch and they had this giant Polly Pocket blanket. This is based on the Starbright Dinner Party Compact. And we're actually gonna open this today and see how large it is. I think it's pretty large. Okay. Okay, she's huge. She's a big one. Whoa. Is this upside down? Wait, I'm confused. Hello? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh my God, this is gigantic. I can't zoom out, but look at this. It's the Starbright Dinner Party. Do we see that? Oh my God. It's huge. And you know what? She's comfortable. She's very comfortable and a little bit pricey, but Polly Pocket collabs these days, they're not cheap. And then on the back, we have the characters. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's Polly. I thought I saw another one. No, I guess we just have Polly, and then we have a little bit of the interior of this compact. Oh wait, no, here's another character. Bam! Worth it. This is worth it. And she's so cute. Oh, we're gonna have to do the rest of this with me wrapped up like this. Worth it. Love that. I'm not going to use it because my dogs will get their fur all over it, but it's definitely going in my collection. And then I told you guys I got a lot this month. I finally got my hands on the Tokyo Disneyland Resort compacts. What are these officially called? It just says Tokyo Disney Resort. And yeah, I had to buy these on eBay because where, as an American, am I supposed to buy these? These were only available literally in Tokyo. So several people had DM'd me about these and I was kind of so on getting it because I thought they looked really cheap in the pictures and I was proven wrong because in person, they are really good quality. You have to believe me. The photos do not do it justice at all. First of all, this packaging, the way they're having the compact kind of float. Typically, I'm anti-extra plastic like this, but it just gives it this really cool 3D effect in the packaging. The characters are such good quality. They're painted very nicely. Typically with Polly Pocket characters, there's some crookedness, some mistakes here and there. You can't really help it. If it's made in a factory, it just happens. But these, like with most Japanese merchandise, they are painted to perfection. Do you see that? Do you see Winnie the Pooh? This excites me. These are so cute. I wish they had made more. We have Toy Story and Winnie the Pooh. I want Alice. I want Alice so bad. Please make an Alice one. The inside of the compact looks really cute too. Again, in the pictures, it's kind of like boring, but in person, it's just packed with detail and the quality is so good. I almost don't want to take these out of the packaging because they are special edition. Tokyo Disney. And these are also a lot larger than I expected. I thought they were going to be really tiny, cheap, lightweight compacts, but these have weight to them and they are quite large. Worth it. Worth it. If you guys happen to see these on eBay or elsewhere, buy them. And finally, I have a handful of early 2000s Polly Pockets new in box. These are part of the Polly Pocket theme park set from the early 2000s. So first we have the carousel here, new in box. And we also have Butterfly Ride, also new in box. And then we have the big Mama Jamma amusement park, also new in box and a little dusty. I haven't cleaned any of this just yet. So I did buy all three of these new in box because the difference between new in box and not wasn't really that big of a price difference. So I decided to just get them brand new and ensure all the pieces are there, all the characters are there. But I actually made a mistake because these three, the three I just showed you, came in a set and I didn't know that they came in a set. I thought the seller was only selling this. So I ended up buying a second set of the carousel one and a second set of the butterfly one, which is still en route over to me. But I didn't realize that the seller was actually selling the entire set and it's too late now. But it's okay because I can open one and keep one in the box. So I have two carousels here and actually the boxes are a different color, but just the green part, the rest of it is the same. So at least there's some variation and I don't feel too guilty about accidentally having two. Very excited because this entire set actually connects together and turns into a giant amusement park. So that will get a showcase for sure. Now on to some updates. So first I did do my very first sponsorship here on my YouTube channel, and it is with MGA Entertainment. And I'm very excited that the first company I have chosen to do a sponsorship with is with one of the biggest toy companies in the US right now. They also own the Bratz IP, so I'm manifesting that they contact me for a Bratz sponsorship because I would absolutely love to do one. But yes, I did do my first sponsorship with them, which is with MGA's Miniverse Make It Mini series, and those were insanely fun to put together. In fact, they just released a Jurassic Park one and I love dinosaurs. I might just get that one. They also have a Harry Potter one. So my reaction in those sponsorship videos were completely genuine. I had not had any practice or any exposure to these types of toys. I've seen them on TikTok, but I've never tried any myself. So that was really fun to do. I recommend you guys watch those and also get a few of your own and try them. They're super cute. So yeah, I love doing that. I am pretty selective with the companies that I work with and the collabs that I do, the sponsorships that I do. I've been contacted for some other collabs and usually they're products that just don't really resonate with me. I also don't know if most of them are genuine. Sometimes I feel like they're scams. I mean, we all get a bunch of scam emails, but I get a lot. But I want to make sure that whatever collab or sponsorship I end up doing in the future It does resonate with me. It fits with my brand. It fits with my collection. So that was really fun. I hope I get to do more of that. It also makes my channel feel like it's a real job. And I've never really seen it like that because this is like my freedom to do and say whatever I want. And to me, a job is more like I have to please a boss or a client. So that was the first time it ever felt like a job, which is typical when you're working with someone and they want their vision executed. So I'm used to that kind of stuff. And it was kind of fun to bring a little bit of job aspect into my channel. Speaking of jobs, I am officially applying for corporate jobs again. And by officially, I mean to companies I really, really like. Again, I do feel privileged that I'm in a position where I can pick and choose who to work with and who resonates with me rather than just picking whatever. And that's really my biggest takeaway since I got laid off a year and a half ago, is that it really gave me the opportunity to step back and really see what it is that I want with my life. I dedicated a huge chunk of my life to corporate, 13 years as a corporate designer, intern, junior, mid-tier, senior, eventually design manager. So I literally climbed the career ladder in design in corporate. And when I got laid off, it really felt like all of it was taken away from me. I was very, very sad. I was not ready to let that part of my life go. And even now, having been unemployed or soft retired for a year and a half, I still feel like something's missing. I feel like I have these sets of skills that I'm not using because I can only really use them in corporate. Does that make sense? Like, I'm a designer. I design on my own. I design for my blog, YouTube, everything. I do all the graphics, my own branding, my shops, of course. I did the website and all that stuff. But something about designing in corporate, it just flexes my brain in such a satisfying way. And the only thing I really don't like about working corporate is work politics and having to go to BS meetings. I mean, we all hate that stuff. If you work in corporate, really think, do I hate my job or do I just hate having to go to meeting after meeting that they make no sense? They could have been an email. Or work politics, like your random coworker hates you for no reason and makes every day a living hell, but you're just there to work. You didn't even do anything. You didn't even say anything to them. Things like that. It's just kind of like, just let me work. Just let me design, please. So I've come at a point where I'm kind of missing it a little bit. And so I'm putting myself out there, and it's actually really funny because I just had my very first interview with an AI. Things are getting scary. Things are getting real scary. Okay, at first, this whole AI thing was fascinating. And don't get me wrong, I love AI. I love technology. I am not afraid of it at all. But there's this weird transition we're in right now where we're almost removing the entire human aspect out of everything and automating everything. You can't just automate everything, okay? We still need people, we still need emotions. That's how we connect with each other. So I had my very first interview with AI, and it actually shocked me because I literally just clicked apply for this job and I got a call 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, I got a call, which I missed because I didn't expect a call, and I was also on my walking pad. So I was a bit distracted. Then after I missed the call, a minute later, I got a text from the same number saying, hi, this is an AI blah, blah, blah from this company you just applied for. Give me a call and we'll conduct your AI interview. And I was like, is this a scam? But no, it was not a scam. Basically, certain companies are just using AI recruiters now. Yeah, that's a thing. So I decided to give it a whirl. I called them back, and this is the scary part. This AI sounded so human that if they didn't tell me she was AI, I'm still kind of able to tell, but part of me would have been like, maybe that's just how they talk. You know, certain people just kind of talk like that. But this AI was like 99% human sounding. Okay, it was freaky. So the thing is, I went through the interview, but I didn't know how to talk to it. Like, was I supposed to talk to it like a normal person? Or since I know it's a robot, should I be more precise with my answer? Like, just say it outright. So I was kind of doing that. And I know that it's recorded and a human on the other end is probably going to listen to it. And they haven't called me back. So I probably did it wrong because I was literally talking back to it like a robot. It just completely caught me off guard. So it was asking me things like, can you give me an example of when you applied this and this to your work? And so I was like, half talking like me, half talking like a robot because I knew it wanted certain information. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I need to make sure I speak clearly because a lot of the times robots still can't understand our speech. So I was like, an example of when I did that, you know? Okay. I'll admit I had fun. It was really interesting, but part of me also died inside because that's someone's job that was lost to a freaking robot. That's so sad. Someone's job. I have spoken to hundreds of recruiters. I have applied to hundreds of jobs throughout my entire career. And this was the first time I had ever spoken to a robot recruiter that sounded 99% human. It's scary, you guys. It's really scary. And you know what? This robot heard me perfectly and also interviewed perfectly in a sense that the right way to interview someone is you're supposed to encourage them and make them feel good rather than leave them feeling like, oh, I probably messed up, or, things like that. Like, I know I messed up because it's a robot and I was nervous. But the way it was responding to me was very human. It was like, oh, that sounds amazing. The conversion rate of your design is blah, blah, blah. And it was like repeating what I said to it and giving it back to me as like positive reinforcement. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? Anyway, that was both fun and freaky at the same time. Also, I am a huge advocate for AI. I do love AI. I feel like there is a limit though, and that is coming from me, a designer whose job literally was taken over by AI. Unfortunately, designers in the tech industry are now redundant. You can use an AI tool to create a UI, to create a website, to create anything. So I'm not against it. My issue is that I read somewhere that we're supposed to use AI for things humans can't do, not replace humans. And that is what I 100% agree with. Right now, we are trying to replace as many humans as we can with AI, rather than what are the things humans cannot do? That's where AI should come in. Why is AI making art? Why is AI designing? Why is AI coding? It should be supportive in those roles. It shouldn't be the main character of those roles. So I think right now we're just in this weird transition phase with every new technology. It happened with smartphones. It happened with the internet. So with everything new, we always just kind of go full force. Like, hey, let's see how far we can take this and really go all out. And then throughout the years, we'll create laws and regulations around it. Like, for example, with this recruiter, I think by law, they do have to say that it is AI. That might have been one of the regulations that was passed. I don't remember, because I remember when Google first came out with the first robotic speaking voice, and it sounded so human that it freaked people out. So I think by law, they have to say that if you are talking to a human, you have to say it's an automated person or something like that. So yeah, you know what? Let me know, please, if I am talking to a robot, because it does freak me out. This recruiter sounded so human. I'm scared. But yeah, I do miss corporate a little bit. I still really love my life the way it is. Again, I'm either or. If I get a corporate job, that'd be so amazing. If I don't, my life stays exactly the way it is, which is amazing. I'm very appreciative of my privileges and the fact that I have so much creative freedom that I can come on here. I can take on a YouTube sponsorship. I can vlog. I can, do whatever I want with my shops. I don't have any pressure. And speaking of shops, yes, I'm still working my jewelry shop, but this is what I mean when I say this is all I'm asking for. No pressure, just freedom to work on whatever projects I want on my own pace. So I have a newfound appreciation for my path these days. Obviously, there's just been a lot of questions. Like, losing my job has put me in a spot where I really didn't know where to go. And I always measure my success through money, through monetary metrics, numbers, because that's data. And also my job as a product designer is to focus on data as well as design. But now I've come to realize that my success for me personally is freedom. It's creative freedom. It's getting to do a million projects that I love versus one thing. And if there's one advice I can give all of you out there, especially younger folks who are just entering the job market, the goal isn't to have one long career stretch and climb the career ladder anymore. That's kind of been redefined now in this new era that we're in. The goal is to just have as many options for yourself as possible so that you can be versatile and you can switch around. So that would be my advice. Make yourself versatile, learn a bunch of different skills. You don't have to be absolutely perfect at every single one. I hate the saying that said, how did it go? Jack of all trades, but master of none. But the whole phrase is actually jack of all trades, master of none is better than being master of one. I think that's how it goes. Like, it's better to learn a bunch of different skills and be okay or good at them rather than be absolutely perfect at just one thing, because it's more valuable now in 2025 than ever to be versatile and to be flexible and adaptable. So that is my advice. Be versatile, flexible, adaptable, do a bunch of things, learn a bunch of skills, and it's honestly more fun to be well-rounded and know a bunch of things than just be one-dimensional. And that's me justifying why I'm all over the place with my projects. And of course, moving on to my fitness update, I told you guys that I was going to be very, very honest with you, and I wasn't just going to tell you guys the successful or good parts of my fitness journey. And the reality is, at this point, my weight has maintained. So that means I have not lost any more weight since we last spoke. I am sitting at 124, 125 pounds, which would make no weight lost this month. If anything, I probably gained a pound, but that's negligible. I kind of fluctuate like that. And since this is all new to me, I have never been this size in my adult life. I've always been overweight at any age range that I've been. I've always been overweight for my age range and height. So this is the first time I've ever been in a normal, healthy, scientifically healthy weight for my height. So I'm managing how to be here. Does that make sense? Like, for me, this is the new normal. I feel like I'm kind of starting off at a new baseline because I've been this weight for a while, that now this is my new normal. I don't see myself anymore as someone who used to weigh a lot and now weighs this. I now see myself as someone who weighs this, period. And this is my starting off point. That's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like I've reset, which is a good thing. It means that I am no longer having body dysmorphia of sorts. I fully believe that this is what I look like. I take my measurements, I weigh myself, my doctor has seen me. There's no question in my head anymore as to what I really look like, which is such a weird thing. When you lose a lot of weight or change your body drastically, you go through these periods where you're like, do I really look like this or do I not? And for me, I will always see myself as that larger overweight girl because that's who I was majority of my life. But for the first time ever, I'm seeing myself in this body as I'm maintaining it as it is. This is my true form. And I feel like that's such a revelation for me because I used to worry for the longest time that I was going to gain all that weight back and that I couldn't maintain this because I just love food so much and I know that I'm always going to be a binge eater. So that's something that's been ruminating in the back of my mind where I'm like, oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm actually still that large overweight girl because I have not made any progress. And losing a lot of weight, although to external folks, it's like a pat on the back, like, yay, good job. There's so much mental stuff that goes on. You can't just maintain your physicals, you have to maintain your mentals. And that's why a lot of people, myself included, have continued to gain the weight back and then lose and then gain and then lose. So that was the pattern that I was on before I went on this big health journey 2 years ago. Also, happy 2-year fitness journey to me. I just reached my 2-year mark. So on top of working on my physical health, I am working on my mental health. That's why I call it a fitness and health journey, because health isn't just physical, it's mental too. I need to learn how to live in this new body because it's not just about, oh, my clothes fit me and I'm more confident taking pictures. It's about how I see myself. And for the longest time, I always saw myself as that overweight girl still, and that this is all a dream and that I'm gonna wake up and I'm still that girl. But every day I wake up and I'm in this body and it's reality. And this month, the biggest lesson I learned, despite not losing any weight this month, is that this is me. My body is here to stay. There's also this thing called diet exhaustion, which is very real. George and I, yes, my bodybuilder husband George, and myself are both going through it. George is very meticulous with his diet and fitness, way more than I am. And in fact, he taught me everything I know. And he is going through diet exhaustion. So it's very normal. It doesn't mean we're failing. I don't see myself as a failure. George and I are maintaining our physiques right now. We're not cutting, or he has been in maintenance for a long time, but now he's just kind of letting up a little bit. Maybe he's a little bit over maintenance, but for him, he's a guy and he's a bodybuilder, so I try not to compare myself to him too much. I'm just letting you guys know that different bodies require different things. Like for him, he's having his favorite sweets and he's having pizza and things like that. And for me, I'm more or less maintaining right now. I'm still on a cut. Like I try to eat in a deficit as much as I can, but sometimes I do just want to listen to my body, and my body sometimes just wants extra food. And since I have been on this health journey for 2 years, I did take some holiday breaks. During holidays, we all eat, everybody goes through it. But 2 years is a really long time to be in a deficit for 90% of the time. So this month, I've just kind of listened to my body and settled with the fact that I wasn't going to lose any more weight just this month. So health advice, if you are in a calorie deficit, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're going through some months, some weeks where you just cannot cut anymore, you can't take it anymore, you have diet exhaustion, at least maintain. You don't have to eat in excess. If you must eat in excess, just reserve it for your favorite treat, but at least maintain. And if you can maintain, you're good. Which is the other thing I learned, is that success, again, I'm very metrics focused when it comes to success, and I really need to look at it from a different perspective. Just because I have not lost any weight doesn't mean I failed, because I also did not gain any weight. I maintained. So, but I do want to talk about a real failure that I had earlier this month. So we celebrated George's birthday and we went out to a restaurant, and I did binge. I am a binge eater. I've told you guys this several times and I always will be. It's just something that I maintain, that I work on, and once in a while, the binge eating monster comes out. So on George's birthday, we went to a restaurant and I thought that I did really well because we split the appetizers. I actually had George order appetizers. I didn't order any. And then whatever he would order, I would just kind of split with him. And then for my main course, I had salmon, healthy, normal stuff. But then we got to dessert. And that's when the binge eating monster came out. So George and I already agreed that we were going to have 2 separate cakes. He was going to have his cake for his birthday. They were going to put a candle in it. And then I was going to have my own cake because I wanted a different flavor. But they were out of his flavor. So he said, oh, let me just share with you then. And for some reason, something took over me and I just yelled at him. I don't know why I did this, but I said, no, I want my own cake. And it was actually embarrassing. He looked at me like, mind you, George never really gets mad at me unless I'm super, super having an attitude for like no reason. Even when I have an attitude, he's just a chill guy. He's super sweet. But the only time he would ever really call me out is if I'm having the worst attitude at him for no reason. And this is one of those times where I got so defensive of this cake. I got so territorial because he's like, oh, why don't we just share? And I was like, no, this is my cake. You gotta get your own. And it was his birthday. It was his birthday and the binge eating monster came out and attacked him. So he was like, okay. And then he got his own cake, which was a different flavor. And then my cake was a different flavor. And guess what I did? I was eating some of his cake. I kept reaching over and I had my own cake, but I was reaching over and eating his. Why was I doing that? Why was I doing that? So binge eating monster, she came out. And then I took the rest of my cake home because I didn't want to force myself to eat while full. And I was full because I was eating half of George's birthday cake. So then we went home. I put my cake in the fridge and I was like, oh, I'll have it tonight. And so I thought that I won for the day because not only did I share appetizers with him rather than having my own, I opted for something healthy as my main course with the salmon, but I saved my cake for later, even though I was eating half of his. And then I didn't even realize that I had yelled at George till he called me out when we came home. So he said, why were you acting like that at the restaurant? It was really embarrassing. And then I said, what do you mean? It's like, I don't even remember. And then he said, why did you yell and got all territorial with the cake? And then you were also eating my cake. Like, are you okay? And I did tell him to call me out on these things when we started my fitness journey, because this has been me. Majority of a relationship where I just get so territorial with food. And he just stopped calling me out on it because over the years, I just got more and more defensive and we would argue. So he just stopped. But at this point in time, I told him, please do call me out. I want to fix this behavior. And also it was his birthday and I ruined the vibe. And the fact that I didn't even think it was that bad because my recollection of it was, oh, I just really wanted my cake and I just wanted a taste of your cake. But then he said, well, you weren't really tasting my cake. You ate like half of it. So that was very, very embarrassing. I actually ended up crying at home because I was just so embarrassed. Like, I really did that. Like, if I was caught on camera and I was watching myself act that way in public, no less, yeah, that's embarrassing. So, binge eating monster, she's still a part of me, always will be. And I hadn't had cake in such a long time that something rewired in my brain, and binge eating monster was just like, gimme. Also, that night, the cake ended up making me sick because in my new body and low weight, I just cannot accommodate eating at such high volume. So I ended up throwing the cake away, half of it anyway. And lesson learned. I felt sick internally, externally, and I semi-ruined my dear husband's birthday. So I apologized to him and he's like, no, you didn't ruin my birthday. It happens, blah, blah. And I was just like, how embarrassing of me. How embarrassing of me. And I've been out in restaurants before. This isn't new territory to me. And I've been good at restaurants. It's not like this happens every single time I go out. I'm also not afraid to go out to restaurants. I've composed myself before. I don't know what happened in this particular pocket of time that made binge eating monster come out. So she'll just come out when she wants to, and I just have to manage her. So things like that. I was very, very disappointed in myself that day. I was like, I thought I was managing this. I thought we fixed this. What's going on? Why do I still have this need to eat a lot? And to not just eat my food, but eat other people's food. And that's a habit that I picked up on as a kid. I remember I would eat my classmates' food. And at one point, there's this girl, she would bring the most delicious treats. This was in the Philippines. And she'd bring like American cereal, like Fruit Loops and stuff like that. And I've never seen anything like that before in the Philippines because I grew up very poor. We didn't have that stuff. But I guess she had relatives that would bring that stuff from the US. And I would eat it. And at first she would just give me a taste, and then a taste became like a handful, and then a handful became, let me have half. And then it became, oh, let me actually like take the whole thing. And then at one point it got so bad that she started crying. And this was first grade, I think. She started crying and then she said, why are you always eating my food? And that's one of my core memories that ingrained in my brain. And that's what I felt when I was out at George's birthday. Why are you eating my cake? There's something wrong with me. I need help. There's something wrong with me. I don't know why I do that. Like, okay, let's compose ourselves. I just wanted to throw it out there. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. I don't just want to talk about my wins here. I want to talk about my very embarrassing moments and struggles being this binge eater. It's not enough that I eat my food. I gotta eat other people's food too. Why? What is it again? We're demure. Okay, we gotta be demure. What happened to the demure girl? I haven't seen her around lately. But you know what? After that, I got right back into it, back into the routine. And I also learned that because I've been on such a good routine for such a long time, anything that breaks my routine really does mess with my head. And I think that's what caused the binge eating monster to come out, is that every single day I've been very consistent. And then one day we just kind of like went all out. And it's a special occasion, so it was fine. But it kind of gave me anxiety too, because every day looks the same for me, where I'd wake up, I'd get on my treadmill, and then I'd have my healthy meals, whatever. But this one day I had to kind of shift some stuff around, and even that slight schedule change messed with my head. And I almost feel like, what's the point of being healthy if I can't even stand one bad day of being off schedule? So that's another thing I need to work on, is that I need to just adapt. What did we talk about earlier? Be flexible, adapt. So May is just a huge learning month for me, learning about how to live in my new body, how to still manage my binge eating disorder, how to be flexible and adapt. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work trying to better yourself. Maybe I should just go back to being addicted to video games, hot Cheetos, and sleeping at 4 a.m. and getting up at 5 p.m. and all those bad habits I used to do. But no, the reality is I love my new life. I love my new body. I love my new mindset, and I'm almost pushing 40. And what I want to do is set the foundations for that. So that's what I'm doing now. Setting the foundations so that when I turn 40, I'm the best version of myself. It is harder and harder to work on yourself the older you get. So if there's a time to start, it's now. I'm also going to do a 2-year fitness anniversary video where I talk about all the things I've learned in my 2-year fitness journey. So that's coming soon, as well as new showcases. I feel like those new Polly Pockets I just showed deserve their own showcase. Just the box alone, the packaging alone, it just makes me so happy. And that is my May update. Happy June, happy summer. No bugs, no spiders, please. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.